It has been a little while since I've made a new video, and I was asked about tying long knots. So I'm going to use my book, Turk's Head Workbook. And in my Turk's Head Workbook, it shows like a 5-4, and that'd be a type 1 enlargement. 7-4 would be a type 2 enlargement from the same start. And it's the same thing as you get longer. This would, you'd be tying a 9-part 4-bight Casa Knot. This would be a type 1 enlargement where you go on the right hand side of the standing end. If you go on the left hand side of the standing end, it'd be a type 2 enlargement, and it makes an 11-part 4-bight Casa Knot. But we're going to stick with the type 1 because that's what we're used to tying. And I also want to show about how my drawings are made. And here I'm showing that you do 2 wraps. Well, some people might call this a wrap and a half knot. But the main thing is when you go back, it's how many overs you make. So if this is, I'm saying 2 wraps, and that's an over 2. Where if we do a 13-part 4-bight, you do 3 wraps, and it's an over 3. And I do that so it's just straight over. And these are wrapped quite tight here, and it's a straight back. That's so in my drawing, I can show all of the movements on one side of the stick going back. And then you see how here's all these movements spiraling. Well, once you get to about this point in the knot, you need to straighten the knot out or your knot will be twisted. So I want to show other ways of tying it besides just the way the drawing shows. But let's tie this 9-4, and we're going to do 2 wraps. 1, 2, and then it's going to go over 2. Then it's going to go over 2. 1, 2. Now we have an under over 2 times. So we go under, over, under, over. Now we're back to our standing end. We're on the right hand side. We're going to go under, over 2 times. Under, over, under, over. That laid our tracks going up. Now I'm going to turn this toward me. The one we've been following is this one, so we're going to cross. We went out over, so now we're going to come in over, and we're following that strand. Over, under, and now that strand that we're following is going over 2, so we go over 2. And then we keep following that strand, under, over. That laid our tracks back down or to the left, however you're holding your knot and how you want to look at it. Now, here's our tracks. We're just going to split those tracks. So where this one goes over, we go over. Where that one goes under, we go under. Where these 2 are both going over, so we go over 2. That one's going under 2, so we go under it. This one is over there and over there, so we go over it. Pull our twists out and get up to the top of the knot. Now, sometimes this bight is going to be slid clear down under that cross. But see how it's under? We got to go under it to get into our tracks. And here's our tracks. Let me take my twists out. here's our tracks right down through here. See the two parallel strands? So that's over, so we're going to go over it. This is under, so we go under it. That's over, so we go over it. That's under, we go under it. So that's over too, so we're going to go over it. That's under too, so we're going to go under it. And this is over here and over there, we go out over it. That gets us to the other end. And this is where we just go alongside of our standing end to finish the knot. That tied our 9-part 4-bight Casa knot. And as I tied that, see how it's kind of straightened out? The angle of these and the angle of those are about the same angle, and the boxes are squares. They're not really oblong or anything. So my knot is fairly straight. But sometimes you'll have to straighten that out to get these angles right. Okay, I want to show you how to tie this same knot by building or braiding the knot. It's different than, you're still making pairs and splitting, making tracks and splitting tracks, but you're putting the strands where they're going to be as when the finished knot's tied. Okay, so we're going to go around. We're going to go, I think I was out of frame. We're going to go around the stick. We're going to come back. So that might be called a wrap and a half. Over in the back, and then over in the front. So that was my over 2. So now, when I cross that, instead of coming around here and following this, I'm just going to turn right along the side of it, and I'm going to follow up the left-hand side, and whatever it is doing right here, I'm going to do the opposite. So that's an over. I keep rolling my knot around. I come to the top. I go out over. Now, where I've come over, I turn and I follow right alongside of this string. So before we were following on the other side doing the same. Here we're going alongside here doing the opposite. But here's our same under over, because we're doing the opposite. And we're laying this string right here. And we want to have our little squares about the same size, because we're putting these strands where they're going to be in the finished knot. Okay, here's our second under over, but we're doing the opposite right here. Under and out over our strand. Now once we get to here, now if there was a pin, we'd go around a pin right there. But we're going to turn it, and we're still following this strand doing the opposite. So it is going over, so we go under. Here it's going under, so we go over. So that's our under over. We're staying right alongside of here, and we've got this wide space that we're going to fill up. Okay, this is under, so we're going to go under it and out over the edge of the knot. I keep covering up the knot with my hand, but I'm trying to hold it. Okay, now once I go out, I'm going to turn. Like I say, if there was a pin there, we'd go around the pin. But we're going to stay right next to this, and we're doing the opposite. Over, under. Now, we're still following it, doing the opposite, and it's going under 2, so we're going to go over 2. It's going over 1, so we go under 1 and out over it. And we're keeping it right there. Our boxes are about the same size, everything's straight. Now, if there was a pin, we'd go around it right there, but we're staying right next, and this is our last pass up, so we're actually staying halfway between that one and that one, and you can see that is our tracks and we're splitting them. But we're watching this side, doing the opposite. Over, under. It's going under 2, so we're going to go over 2. It's going over, so we're going to go under 1 and out of the, over that bight, out of the knot. And this method makes your knot straighter, and you can tie it tighter because you're putting the strands right where they're going to be when you finish. But now we come out of the knot. We're going to turn and go right alongside of here doing the opposite. So we're going to go under that one, over that one, and you can see we're just splitting tracks, but we're watching the opposite here. Over, under, over, because it's going over, so we go over. It's under, so we go under. This is under, so we're going to go over here. This is under, so we're going to go under it. And out of the knot. And that finished the knot. And as you, okay, so I'm going to go right in alongside of the standing end to finish the knot. And as you can see, this knot is much tighter. And if you sight down through there, you can see it is quite straight. Than the other tying method. But I'd like for you guys to try the 2 different tying methods. One being laying tracks and splitting tracks, and the other one is staying right alongside and laying where it's going to go, doing the opposite of the one that you're going alongside of. Thank you for watching.